Yeah. Woo. Wow. Let's go.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning.
Wake up.
First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Wake up, 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 wake up. Wake up, wake up.
Shout out to Sherman Wells.
Wake up, wake up, wake up,
That's
wake
big
up,
time,
wake
fool.
up, wake up, wake up. You better wake up from this dream.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thanks for joining us. Welcome, welcome, welcome. A fresh edition of First Guy Omaha in the morning.
First Guy in the morning.
Oh, you put a little jingle jangle on.
Yeah, a little jangle.
All right, you start switching up on people now. I already got the crowd saying in the morning when I go somewhere, so don't trip them up. Don't trip them up too bad. Half the crowd be like, First Guy in the, and the other crowd, the other half is in the morning. Oh no, here we go.
Hey.
Welcome. Yeah, top of the morning to everybody. Thanks for joining us, man. Pops in the chat. Good morning, Monday morning, and Mad left from Las Vegas. Okay, thought you had appointments. Yeah, man. Appreciate everybody joining us this morning. It is the November the 3rd, actually, 2025. So hopefully, past rent due day.
Man,
The pain of that, we can enter the week with that pain past. Hopefully,
my back.
my neck and my back.
Man.
Yeah, welcome. Of course, this is a Senator Cypher Monday, so we'll be speaking to Senator Terrell McKinney and Senator Ashlei Spivey a little later on in the show. So we highly encourage you guys to stick around, get your questions ready, and it's always good to check back in with the senators. But before we get to that, how you doing today, buddy? What's happening?
Man, tired, boss. I'm tired, but it's par for the course. Definitely glad to be here. Senator Cypher Monday. It's actually kind of hitting me. It's been about a month since we spoke to Sister Ashlei Spivey, so looking forward to keeping up and catching up with her, especially with everything's going on, man. I mean, the whole SNAP situation, everything is kind of crazy. Definitely love to hear her take on that, and just catch up to what she's been up to. Of course, still reeling from Halloween weekend. A lot of activities, just a lot of traffic, just a lot going on throughout the city over the weekend. Let us know how your Halloween was, if you believe in that thing or if you celebrate, the ghouls and goblins.
I don't be celebrating them demons. Y'all have fun. Appreciate y'all getting up early this morning, though. RG gives us a morning, y'all. Mama God says, good morning, fam. Appreciate you coming in. Larry Keister's in the chat saying, happy marvelous Monday. I'm sure glad you don't give us no tongue twisters with M's in it on Monday, because that was that'd be tough.
Too much, yeah. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing all right. Yeah, a little, you know what it is. A little tired. Work all weekend too, but it is what it is. We're here. I guess I didn't realize this till last night, but the time moved.
Yeah, that did happen. Fall back, spring forward. So.
Yeah. So I wasn't keeping track.
If you believe in the concept.
Exactly. Majid Miller Jenkins in the chat saying good morning. Appreciate you coming in this morning. And Mark Manor gives us a good morning. Happy November.
Okay.
Weather's moving towards the kind of weather I think Mark likes. So that's what's up. A little chilly out. Katie L in the chat said good morning and thank you for bringing the best start to the day. Oh, nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. Shout out to Mr. Wells. Appreciate that. Oh, yeah. We got to talk about Sermon with Sherman that went down last night. If y'all saw that, we'll be talking about it. Marla Harrison gives us a good morning, First Sky fam, and happy motivational Monday. Love that. Sean McCarthy says, good morning, First Sky team and family. Hope everyone had a good weekend. Hope you did too. And Heather Williams says, good morning, everyone. Appreciate the fam coming in this morning and giving us the hellos and how you doing. It's Black Dynamite in the chat. Good morning, y'all. All right. I guess it's going to be a good morning Monday. Good Monday morning. I appreciate everybody joining us. Do us a favor, share the show if you're on Facebook. And that's a pretty easy share. They're just right there on your page. If you're on YouTube, it's a little tougher. You gotta save the link and send that to somebody. But I highly encourage you to do it. If you can think of anybody in your sphere that would enjoy this conversation and be a part of the conversation and add to it, a good voice that needs to be heard, please send that to them so they can come on and we can get as many voices in as possible.
Yeah, man.
Yep. Right on. It is Monday, so we'll go ahead and jump into a few of the community updates, some things that went down over the weekend. I'm thinking of, let me know if you made any of them. Specifically thinking about Brother Kasim. Captain Q was busy this weekend in a really big way, man. Shout out to all the work that he's doing through the BAA and everything else. Of course, they had the Survival Club hike that happened, man. You can see the numbers are growing there. So
Yeah, quite the line.
yeah, everybody bundled up, put on their gear, and went out. Said today was a beautiful day to have enjoyed the outdoors. We invest deeply in our youth through various forms of education, teaching them the value of self through promoting platforms such as hiking as a way to reduce stress, improve healthy immune systems, balance, focus, cardiovascular improvement, and more. Huge shout out to the community for your continuous support. So
Yeah.
yeah, man. He said today's mental health awareness hike. So that's what that was. And of course, we know that we're kind of in this realm of mental health awareness for kids. This is the month for that. As a matter of fact, there's a event coming up on Saturday that I want to talk about a little bit later on in the week as I get more information. But yeah, mental health is in the community is something that's pretty huge and being talked about a lot right now. So, and it's a good thing. Good thing. Also, what happened? He had the male mental health awareness meeting. We knew that got postponed last week, so it actually happened yesterday. So back to back, man, hiking on Saturday and then meeting on Sunday. They met over there on Pierce Street, and looked like there was a really great turnout for that as well. So shout out to Captain Q, BAA, everybody involved in taking care of mental health in our community. Yeah, man, super busy.
Yeah. Putting in the work.
Putting in the
roots.
And also, of course, we talked about Sherman Wells, his Untamed last night, his sermon with Sherman kind of went in on a few things that we're actually going to talk a little bit about today. Two things happening in the community, but his overall theme was about solidarity, which I thought was real timely. You know, he's really ready. We've had several discussions in the past week about how to get together, how to bring these lanes together so that we can really kind of plow through making some change. And we had some great discussions about it. He talked about it on his show. Highly encourage you to go back and check it out on all platforms, YouTube, Facebook. And just kind of remind me of this picture that I've been seeing all my life. Not really sure if you guys know what this is. They call this the Cleveland Summit. This happened in June 4th in 1967. As you can see, many stars, Wilt Chamberlain, Muhammad Ali, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, a lot of leaders and sports leaders got together because they were about to strip Muhammad Ali of his title for what they call draft dodging. He decided that he was not going to go to war, and they tried to strip him of his title. They all kind of came together, and this has kind of been a legendary picture. All the press was there because this was kind of the first time that all these different stars from different genres came together to support, and it just has always been a symbol of solidarity to me. All my life growing up, seeing that photo. If we got anybody in the chat that knows anything about that meeting, the Cleveland Summit, love to hear about it. For sure. So, so the theme has been solidarity. We've been talking about it a lot too. This is one of the reasons why we really get together, and that's exactly why we are down with Sherman Wells, man. Shout out to him for calling it out, saying, "Look, we need to get together." He talked about that photo with Chief Schmatter that was with Kash Patel, the FBI, and how, you know, there's a lot of people in that photo that probably don't get along, but still came together in order to show a united front. And we need to do the same thing in our community big time. So we'll be talking a little bit more about that as well. I'm seeing in the chat real quick, Marlon Harrison saying, shout out to my November birthday, Scorpios and Sagittarius about to turn up.
Okay.
Yeah, you getting ready for that. You ready for that?
Yeah.
But G. Miller Jenkins said my son went on that hike, so shout out to your son for participating in the Survival Club hike. That's what's up. No glasses today, buddy?
Contacts. Yeah. I'm sure y'all got tired of seeing my broken glasses, so got some. I had to invest.
It's part of the buddy blast when they come off and the lens pops out. Because yeah. It's a prop now.
I still got them.
RG says I told Kasim I messed up agreeing to go on the hike pretty much immediately after doing some heavy squats in the gym. Was hurting unit. Hurting unit, man. Yeah. There's Sherman Wells in the chat right now. Grand Rising, brothers. What's happening, man? Appreciate
Big Sherm. Yeah, appreciate the sermon last night. Yeah.
Absolutely. We
inspired today's show.
It really did, yeah. So that's what's up, man. And this that photo that I was telling you about, Sherm, the Cleveland Summit. When I think of solidarity amongst different groups, this is what comes to mind for me sometimes. So, yeah, we'll be talking about it. We'll also be talking about the incident at MP Mart. Interesting, man. We was doing an interview with Sherman, and he was on the phone with the owner of that spot, Yeah, it was. I'm gonna let Sherman tell it, but man, it was real interesting conversation. Too funny.
Yeah.
Yep. Of course, there's a lot of things going on today. As a matter of fact, today, which is the 3rd, Michaela Danner for Douglas County Attorney kickoff event is happening 5:30 to 7:30 at Lola's Cafe. Highly encourage you to go check this out, man. Of course, she's running for Douglas County Attorney.
Let's talk about it.
You know who's in the seat now?
Don Klein.
Ooh, put them K's on it. Shout out to Precious McKesson talking about the 6 to dismiss. Governor Jim Pillen, Senator Pete Ricketts. Congressman Don Bacon's not running again, so he's out. Congressman Mike Flood, Congressman Adrian Smith, Don Klein for Douglas County Attorney, and Douglas County Sheriff Aaron Hansen. The 6 to dismiss, according to our taking Precious McKesson's lead on that.
Man.
On that, yeah. So that's what's up. Don Klein is right in there, Douglas County Attorney, and here's a person who is running for that seat that it seems like the community is getting behind in a big way.
We need it. It was actually, it was actually looking at some things and just brainstorming. And there's some positions that are holding things up, man. And shout out. Actually, Sherman made a post about what he feels Sheriff Aaron Hansen's political affiliations are. I'll just leave it like that. And it just got me thinking, like, yeah, if we really wanted to get him out here, we couldn't because of Don Klein. And that's how the good old boy network works with the grand old party. I mean, if you understand what I'm saying, yeah, we'll be talking about it.
Yep. Big time. Also, shout out to Marlon Harrison for reminding us that this is Native American Heritage Month. He's giving us some days, some facts. Highly encourage you to check this out over there on Friends of First Sky Omaha. Says today I'm starting off Native American Heritage Month by spotlighting one of my favorite tribes. And yes, it's because I'm from Omaha, the Omaha tribe, Umaha tribe. Here are 5 interesting facts about the Omaha tribe. Fact 1, the word Omaha, Umaha, means those going against the wind or current. That was one of my favorite ones. Check out the rest of the facts over there at Friends of First Sky Omaha. You can check them out here. And shout out to Marlon Harrison for being man about town and just reminding us about what's going on there with the in the community. That's important to us. So shout out to them. Shout out to Umaha tribe. Also, we'll be talking a little bit about what they got going on as well. They've been in the news too. There's a story there about the cannabis situation. We'll be talking about it a little later on. Oh, yeah. So yeah, man, Native American Heritage Month is going on right now. And we appreciate everybody who is acknowledging that too. And more, of course, before we get to the thread today, I just want to mention a couple of dates. This is the wrong one again. This is the one I'm looking for. Crossroads Town Hall is happening Wednesday, November 5th. Lots of stuff going on November 5th, which is unfortunate because there's a bunch of important meetings happening. So this is, if you're in the area of the Crossroads, you might want to go to this town hall. But this is the main one that's happening. The North Omaha Innovation District community meeting is happening from 6 to 8 p.m. On November 5th as well. Shout out to Manny About Town, who's making sure that we know this is happening and doing the work right now of blasting everybody's email, letting them know, come on down. I think this is the final meeting for this. So definitely check out the community meeting for the North Omaha Innovation District happening Wednesday, November 5th from 6 to 8 at the venue at Highlander Accelerator. Definitely check it out. Big time. We talked about the Winnebago food drive that's happening. I believe that's happening today as well, November 3rd, from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. You can drop off food at their locations. And they got a couple locations there, 222 Industrial Road, Winnebago. If you happen to be going out that way, then definitely take some supplies and take some canned goods and things out there to help them as well. I know a lot of people that kind of drive out that way on a regular basis. So, yeah, keep that in mind. Take them some supplies for sure.
Yeah. Oh,
also, Hy-Vee done chimed up. Starting today through November 7th, kids eat free, 12 and under $3 meals available to all. They got some recipes, or not recipes. They have some menu items there from Monday through Friday.
Man,
so, and their whole idea is because no family should go hungry. So again, with these SNAP benefit situations, we're seeing so many restaurants and food places and food pantries chiming up. It's crazy. Yeah, although I did see an article earlier this morning talking about food pantries was already struggling because of the food prices that went up this past year in the first place. And now this added pressure of the SNAP benefit situations got them overloaded. So I appreciate everybody's help donating to these food banks and helping those food banks out, continuing on. and we'll keep on talking about it. Every time we find another restaurant or another store or another food bank that's doing some work, we'll definitely put it out there on Friends of First Sky Omaha. So, and if you get any information, we highly encourage you to share that as well, because we're all out here trying to help each other in a big way right now. It's happening. With that, I'm going to go ahead and save some more of these community updates for a little later in the show, because we got to get to today's thread. So now I'm going to pass it over to Buddy. Buddy, what's today's thread? What's on your mind?
Yeah, as I mentioned, again, big shout out to brother Sherman Wells for tuning in with us this morning. He definitely inspired the thread and just can set the ground, if you will, for today's conversation. Definitely continuing conversations that we've been having here on the show, updates on a few stories, and keeping along with the same energy, man. Again, solidarity, mutual aid, coming together in this time of chaos and divisiveness. And that's all we can do, man. But that's enough. Again, definitely wanting to start off with some affirmative stories. Again, solutions journalism is kind of the angle that we take here on the show. So looking at some resources and some things out there that are helping the people, and again, building a space and place that we would like to see. Shout out to Melissa Wright on the report for this, looking at MCC's Business Development Center. Again, a resource for those looking to start business, which is one of the many lanes that we're going to need to take up to create change. Again, economic power is definitely one of the areas that we can, again, empower ourselves and each other by building and supporting local businesses, and MCC is here to help with that. So we'll give you some details on that program a little later on. Also helping those in need. Big shout out to Mary Ewing stepping up on that front. Again, the 6-month pilot program to address homeless encampments actually started over the weekend. We'll go into the details of what that means and what that looks like. A lot more humane than what ordinances were previously proposed. So we'll definitely talk about that. And again, if anyone is in need, we have some resources for you there. And continuing with the resource vibe, again, Mary Ewing stepping up in a big way last week, calling a citywide food drive. And now we have an updated list of that food drive still ongoing, people still reeling. Although we will jump into this also, this judge that did elect to apply pressure to the Trump campaign and make sure, or the Trump administration, and make sure that they actually did start up benefits. So we'll get into the details of that situation. But in the meantime, between time, people all hands still on deck, people still stepping up, even down here in Atlanta, man. Another example of what can be done even on the city level in the face of the Trump administration. Andre Dickens, again, Mayor Andre Dickens elected to suspend water disconnection, city housing evictions amid shutdown. So again, more resources, more help for the people in the midst of this chaos. And again, more help coming down the pipe in the form of these judge decisions. Nebraska Examiner is reporting, again, several judges actually are blocking the cutoff of SNAP benefits again. So we'll dive into those details. And we definitely have to jump into this birthright citizenship conversation. Nebraska's Attorney General signing on to it. Wrapping that into what the Omaha tribe is going against. They're calling out retaliation against the state of Nebraska for them trying to move forward with some legislation that their duly elected council decided that they want to do for their land. Right. So we'll talk about all of that, and of course, wrap that into solidarity and what we're going to do as a people, man. So again, we're here for the next 2 hours. Of course, if there's anything that we're missing, any marks that we're not talking about, feel free to jump into the chat. Let your mind be free. Let your voice be heard. Of course, it is Senator Cypher Monday, so expect the senators to come through, join the conversation. In the meantime, between time, Paul B.
Yep.
What's the word?
Man, like Buddy said, we're anticipating the senators will be catching back up with Senator Ashlei Spivey, Senator Terrell McKinney, Senator Cypher going on today, and we'll talk to them a little bit later. So go ahead and get your questions ready for that. In the chat, real quick, Anthony Rogers Wright is asking, "Do we know what her platform is, and how she would be? Do we know what her platform is yet, and how she would be distinctively different from Klein?" Talking about Danner. So yes, this is a question that I also have too. We need to definitely learn more about her. So I highly encourage everybody to get together and go today. Lola's Cafe to get to know her. November 3rd. This is today, 5:30 to 7:30. Lola's Cafe is at 4952 Dodge Street, Omaha, Nebraska. I was watching a sermon with Sherman last night and found out that he's behind her. I guess they went to school together as well. You still in the chat, Sherman? Let me know. Let me know. So yeah, I'm hearing more people definitely getting behind her, and that's making me want to go find out what's going on as well and where she stands on a lot of stuff there too. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, I sent the link to her website. I just dropped the link to her
Oh,
website.
sweet. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, we'll go ahead and put that in there.
Yeah, check out her platform points.
Yeah, but that's platform. We got to have her on the show and ask her some questions. For sure. Appreciate that. Also, just want to give a shout out Julie Prenzler's in the chat. Thank you for coming in this morning as well. And she said, yeah, 6 to dismiss for sure. Linda Lathan in the chat. Appreciate you getting up this morning and sharing in with us. Also, Michelle Moreno gives us a good morning. Pops is telling us about the Cleveland Summit 1967. I had put it out there hoping one of the old heads had something to say about it. He said Cleveland Summit 1967, Jim Brown organized the summit after Ali was stripped of his boxing title. They listened to Ali explain his decision before ultimately deciding to support him. Mm-hmm. So that's a very interesting part of this as well. I feel like is that they sat down amongst themselves first and listened first and decided first if they wanted to get behind him, and then decided they did, and then showed solidarity to the world. So pattern there, something a little bit of a recipe there on how to do some things. I'm hoping.
See what you laying down. See what you're doing.
Anthony Rogers Wright saw what I saw. Big up to Noli's Pizza for giving away $10,000 in free meals. We need to assist that business. They're continuing on to give more food too. So we'll definitely talk about them as well. Appreciate that very much. RG is asking, BZ, what did the turnout for the cancer screening on Saturday look like? Couldn't tell you, bro. I didn't go.
No.
Yeah, I forgot I double booked and had Sherman's review to do. I mean, I was yeah, and then some so didn't make it. But I appreciate you keeping up with it. Please let us know when that goes down again for sure. Yeah. Brooke gives us a good morning. Appreciate that very much. Also, Anthony Rogers Wright is giving us an update on Pillin. Said he just got back from the genocidal ethno state to set up trade between Nebraska and Israel. No one is talking about that, and that's shameful. Did see that the other day. Definitely want to work that in the conversation as well. Appreciate it very much. Also, what's Mark Manor talking about? 20 grand? Is that you talking about the Metro fund? We'll get to that. And also, Wanda Lewis gives us a good morning, so I appreciate that too. Definitely. Also, Anthony Rogers Wright says also after Saturday, Nebraska may as well stand for the Cornhuskers are not ever going to be ranked football team.
Yeah, man, they lost their quarterback for the season, man.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah, he broke his leg.
Okay, I've been hearing the rumblings.
Yeah, and they were competing. I'll say that they were competing.
It's funny, man. When something happens to the Huskers around town, a whole different vibe is in the city.
Takes the wind out the sails.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Dodgers.
Hey,
I love LA. It's going down. We'll be right back. First Guy Omaha in the morning. Hall B, buddy to God.
Hey.
Welcome back. First Guy Omaha in the morning. All be, buddy to God. All of you chat chimers, ghost listeners, monitoring spirits, y'all too. Appreciate it. Do us a favor, share the show so we can get as many people in the conversation as we can. Really appreciate everybody that is getting down. Oh, Noli's $20,000 worth of pizzas.
Okay.
Shout out, man.
Doing it big.
Man, Mark, I got to tell you, bro, I've been keeping up with your music reviews and stuff like that. You really need to do a whole food thing too. Because like when you post something about some restaurant, I'd be paying attention. I'd be like, I got to go there and try that. So, yeah, man, I don't know if you've been thinking about any kind of food writing in your future, but you got a voice when it comes to it. Big time.
Didn't some platform just had a workshop on food writing?
You're right.
Was that Flatwater?
Oh, was it Flatwater? Yeah, we gotta go back and look.
Yeah, just unlock
Yeah,
memory.
yeah, they sure did.
That was
Yeah,
recent too.
it was. I gotta go back and look.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll check it out. In the meantime, between time, we'll go ahead and jump in before our guest gets in here. 7:25 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, it's weird that it's light outside already. I guess that's because we fell back.
That part.
That part. Yeah, I'd be discombobulated with the time, man, for real. Like,
Time.
I used to joke. I thought it was a joke in the beginning, but it really is. Like, people got to tell me what time it is, for real.
Time.
Yep. In the meantime, in between, let's go ahead and jump into a little bit of story, buddy. What's first on the agenda today?
Yeah, continuing this trend of starting off in the affirmative affirmative stories affirming the idea of spaces and places and the work that we like to see, man. Again, coming together, making a space and place for everybody to be able to flourish and get to their dreams. And especially those who are dreaming of owning a business, you might want to check out MCC's Business Development Center, who recently received a $10,000 grant and actually ended up matching that grant, bringing it to a total of $20,000 in total funding for small business development. Again, especially in this era of the oligarchs, mass layoffs. Yeah, the economy is falling by the wayside. And again, small businesses. Thriving small businesses are definitely a great indicator of a thriving economy. So again, the 10-week program helps participants create business plans, conduct market research, and learn to pitch to investors, all things that are very, very important to not only owning a business, but succeeding in owning a business, and also things that aren't just commonly taught. Again, you can find information on how to file for an LLC and things like that. But again, talking to investors, filling out business plans. It's a lot to it. So big shout out to MCC for helping local creatives. Again, local creatives recently gathered for a workshop hosted by MCC's Business Development Center, focused on helping early center entrepreneurs sharpen their skills and connect with resources. So again, there are some resources out there. It's, do you know about them? Can we connect each other to them? So if anybody has gone through this or has any more information about it, definitely please drop that into the chat. Let the folks know what's going on. And of course, if you're interested, definitely check out MCC. It's through the college's Business Development Center, which again was awarded the $10,000 through the National Association for Community College Entrepreneurship. It's a mouthful, but it's all about business.
Yeah, I just noticed that the Business Development Center is over there in the North Downtown, Nodo, Millwork Commons, yep. MCC at the Ashton, 1106 North 12th Street. Didn't know that. So there you go, expanding that. Cool. I'm an entrepreneur, so $10,000 don't sound like much, but we'll see what they do with it. I mean, I don't want to burst the bubble. It's supposed to be a positive story coming in, but what you gonna do with $10,000 is like payroll for a month for something.
Yeah, well, it's 20, but might go to helping somebody actually help people fill out those business plans and things like that. We'll see. It's a great question. I definitely need more funds, but the point is making people aware of the resource first. So again, definitely check out MCC Business Development Center.
There you go. Appreciate that very much. Yeah. Marlon Harrison in the chat says, I don't know if anyone got a chance to see my pictures from Louisville, Kentucky on Friends of First Sky Omaha, but I had an awesome time. We appreciate it. Welcome back. I'm glad your travels were safe. And yeah, I saw the pictures. You found some cutie pies out there. Go ahead. Hey. Cutie pies. Go ahead, Marlon. Man about town is what Marlon is. So we appreciate you, man.
Yeah. Remind us what that trip was for out there in Louisville, because it was actually a conference, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah. Let us know. Safe travels to everybody. Let's move it along, man. Mm-hmm. Speaking of resources, speaking of pies, man, helping people eat. Again, big shout out to Mary Ewing for stepping up in the face of this shutdown. And chaos. I mean, that's the only word that comes to mind. I try to think of another word, but it's just chaos, madness, if you will. But again, people are stepping up in the midst of it. Again, last week, a citywide food drive was announced, and now it is expanding. More stores, more businesses, more areas joining the fray. Again, there are 13 city-run locations all our community centers except for the South Omaha Library, which was announced on Friday. All of these areas will accept shelf-stable food donations at its administration buildings and 4 metro area hospitals. Those are Bergen Mercy, Emmanuel, Lakeside, and Midlands Hospital. Again, 13 city-run locations. Again, CHI also announced a $100,000 donation to food banks, which have already been struggling, as Paul mentioned earlier. They also donated another $70,000 to Food Bank for the Heartland and $30,000 to the Food Bank for Lincoln. And the city shared also an update at a press conference on Sunday. It held the press conference at a food drive run by Club Scout Pack 365, which is based out of Harrison Elementary School in Dundee. The Pack's drive ended Sunday, but it's still encouraging donations to the food bank for the Heartland. So we'll post a link in the chat. But also beyond the city locations, there are still, again, nonprofits. Shout out to Heart Ministry Center, our partners over there, and the good work that they're doing. Of course, everybody who donated answered the call of Brother Dave Pontos donating to Black Men United. Again, all hands on deck, everybody stepping up. And this is, again, the affirmative of what we like to see in spaces and places and talking about solidarity.
Very much so. And also just want to think about the article that I found a little earlier in the day, or actually last night, just about food banks in general. We're moving towards that direction. The advice is that if you want to help, if you got some resources, send them to the food bank, whether that's food or money, so that they can continue. They already have the infrastructure to distribute. So just shore up the food banks instead of doing a whole bunch of stuff, doing a whole bunch of organizing yourself. It's better works better if you got an organization that's already doing it. So definitely do that. But also just think about how they've been stressed already. Food banks have already been stressed because food prices, because of tariffs and everything else, has gone up so high over this past year. A lot more people have been reaching out to the food banks anyway. Our friends over at Heart Ministry Centers can attest to that. So can Willie Hamilton over there at Black Men United. A lot more people in line for sure this past year. So they already been stressed. And now with this thing that's happened with the November 1st shutdown of SNAP benefits, it's even more stress. But people are really stepping up all over the place, as you can see. Every time we highlight any restaurant, any organization, and then shout out to Mary Ewing for stepping up as well to try to get some of these things shored up. So it's a feeling of hope. And then, of course, we got some judges out here that are deciding that this ain't cool. So those of you that have SNAP, that are missing the SNAP benefits, they might be back on Wednesday, according to what's going on in the streets.
Yeah, which is interesting, when you think about the state of Nebraska kind of jumping the gun, if you will, and cutting off benefits prematurely.
Man,
if you remember, Nebraska elected to cut off benefits like October 25th, 26th. There's still a few days left before the national USDA cutoff.
Wow, I didn't even put that together. That's crazy.
Yeah, they didn't even wait for the USDA to stop sending. They just cut it off. They was just, hey, there you go. But again, it was. Go ahead.
I was just saying, who did that?
Well, they're getting sued. Actually, we'll dive into that here in a second. We'll dive into that here in a second. But before we get into the lawsuit, judges again are already chiming up and speaking out on this situation. 2 judges in particular, one judge from Boston, ruled Friday that the U.S. Department of Agriculture's plan to pause food assistance program for the 42 million people was actually illegal, and gave the Trump administration until Monday, that's today, to respond to her finding before she decides on a motion to force the benefits be paid despite the ongoing government shutdown. At nearly the same time on Friday, another judge in Rhode Island, a federal judge in a similar case, brought by cities and nonprofit groups, ordered the USDA to continue payments and granted a request for a temporary restraining order. So again, one judge order is asking them to stop the pause. So again, to pay money that's supposed to go out this month. And again, another one in federal courts in Rhode Island, calling for the continuation of payments. However, experts and a key member of Congress said that some SNAP recipients still may see delays in their benefits because changes in administration from the federal government to states to vendors take time. And of course, some states have responded differently, as we've seen other states electing to use emergency funds to help supplement SNAP benefits. However, as I just mentioned, Nebraska going along with the foolishness, which is par for the course. Actually, we'll be talking about how Nebraska is going along with this birthright citizenship situation later on in the show. But here we are again, judges stepping up. We're seeing everybody step up from every angle of the people, legislation, and now the judicial branch stepping up to try to stop this administrative nightmare that we're seeing.
Yeah. Anthony Rogers right in the chat says the judges ordered that $5 billion contingency SNAP fund of USDA to be released. It would not be nearly enough though. So again, just echoing that idea that even though there's people out here fighting that, it's still going to be real tough on everybody. But this was a reminder. This particular article was a reminder for me that there's this reserve money that's sitting there. So this is not just like they got to come up with the money. They're claiming, this lawsuit is claiming it's illegal for them to not use the money already earmarked, and just hearing that phrase got me thinking about our situation, situations that I've been in before with nonprofit organizations and grant money that we get, and let us not use that grant money in the way that it was laid out for us to use. Let us spend $1 in another direction, and what kind of penalties do you get for that? So this money is already sitting there. This money is already earmarked for a certain thing, and this administration is really trying to turn up the suffering to make Democrats do what they want to do. That's really what the bottom line is. They're trying to turn the suffering up. I heard the Democratic governor talk about that on the news earlier this morning. Like, you're trying to make things tougher during this shutdown. That's really what this is all about. You're pulling out all the stops to make things tougher, like making them do what you want to do, and then like getting on a plane, going to Asia. Trump's been avoiding these conversations with trying to end this shutdown, like literally going out of town, hanging out at Mar-a-Lago, everything else. Man, yeah, it's a trip. So doing everything to try to amp up this pressure and make people suffer and for as long as possible. And hopefully these judges are not going to let that happen. But it's just interesting how this is not like you got to go find this money somewhere. This money's sitting here earmarked for this. Mm-hmm. They're just not gonna let it go because they let it shut down, let it stay shut down so that there's nobody to distribute this money. So we might as well shut it down. Anyway, yeah, this all might change on Wednesday. That's the word. And the people might be able to get their benefits coming up. So we will see about that.
Yeah, and also in the midst of that, this political divisiveness that's been going on, while people are starving and struggling and trying to find ways to feed themselves on the brink of winter, there's been this messaging that's been going out as far as blaming Democrats for the situation. And actually, shout out to RJ RG on the Friends of sharing this. Apparently, there was a lawsuit that was filed against the Pillen administration for "quote unquote" abuse of power for using the state health website to again put out the messaging blaming Democrats. This lawsuit was filed by a Kay Siebler, who's a resident of Lincoln, Lancaster, Nebraska, and on behalf of all taxpayers of the state of Nebraska, bringing the complaint against the defendant, Steve Corsi, who's executive director of the Department of Health and Human Services of the state of Nebraska in his official capacity, saying that he violated a state statute prohibiting public officials or a public employee from using public resources, i.e. the DHHS website, or funds for the purpose of campaigning for or against the nomination or election of a candidate for political office or for other political activities. And in essence, this lawsuit is arguing that Republicans in government are using the public website, the DHHS website, to smear Democrats ahead of a midterm. So again, if there is messaging blaming Democrats for what's going on, people who vote for Democrats there's going to be some question. There's going to be some concern. There's going to be some leaning. There's going to be some influence, if you will. And again, this lawsuit is saying that that's illegal and calling for that messaging to be taken off of the website of the Department of Health and Harm, as Senator McKinney calls it.
Speaking of Senator McKinney, also Senator Ashlei Spivey, they are waiting in the wings. We'll take a quick break and then bring them right in so we can get their take on all these things happening. Yeah. Stay tuned. You're listening to First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
All Beeee, buddy to God. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back for Sky Omaha in the morning. Say what?
In the morning.
Hey, there you go.
I muted myself. My bad.
Paul B, Buddy the Guy, Senator Ashlei Spivey, Senator Terrell McKinney in the house. How y'all doing today?
Good.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good
We talking about
morning.
this.
But Buddy said earlier, seemed like we haven't spoke to you, Senator Spivey, in about a month. So we're looking forward to catching up with you.
Yeah, I had a sick kid last Cypher, so
Mm-hmm.
it's
Is
been
he
a minute. But
is
I'm
he
glad to see y'all this Monday morning.
is he better now?
Yeah, so my youngest was sick first. It was like a virus, and he had a fever almost like 7 days. It was really tough.
Ooh, wow.
And then my oldest has asthma, and so then he just had a flare up last week. But I think fingers crossed, everybody in the house is fine. So
Good.
Yeah.
How you doing, Senator McKinney? What's going on with you?
I'm doing good. This daylight saving time messed up my sleep schedule
Mm-hmm.
life. But I'm all right.
You all right? You was out at the Huskers game. You all right?
Nah, I didn't go. I missed it. I was at the NAACP banquet.
Okay.
I wasn't
Yeah. Okay.
there.
Putting in the work. How was that?
It was cool. It was all right.
Yeah, I saw the pictures. First of all, got reminded that it happened when I saw the pictures. But I was looking at everybody that was there, like, okay, it looked like a good turnout. I didn't. I don't know what I expected, but the pictures told a story about that night. I kind of wanted to hear about it a little bit. Any takeaways?
It was good. Leo got the President's Award. One of my good friends, Devon Whitcomb, got the Rising Star Award. Miss Palestine got an award for volunteering. The owners of Rib Shack got an award.
Check.
And
Sharita Daly got the award too for Rising Star.
yeah, it was good. And
Nice.
Leo spit like a verse or a freestyle
What?
on his speech, so it was cool.
Yeah. Okay. Beautiful.
Leo turned out to be one of my favorite speakers for sure.
Yeah.
Love when he gets up there. Senator Spivey, let's jump in with you because, like I said, we haven't talked to you for a while. So, what's where'd you go, buddy?
I'm still here. I don't know. The tech be teching, but we got new equipment on the way. Don't worry about that.
Tech be teching. Well, I was actually gonna throw it to you. I know you had some questions for Senator Spivey.
We can start just with catching up, man. How have you been, Senator Spivey? What's going on? It seems like we actually haven't talked to you since all of this, has flared up with the SNAP benefits and everything, which I know is very close to your work with ensuring families have what they need. So I just kind of let you unload. How you doing? What's going on? What's on your mind?
Yeah, so I will say this Wednesday, a group of elected officials, I got us together to be able to give out some fresh food boxes as an immediate response to folks navigating the loss of SNAP benefits. And so it's November 5th. From 5 until boxes are gone. We have about 345 fresh food boxes that we received and are working with Whispering Roots on, which I think is important to name. I understand why people need shelf-stable food. It lasts longer, right? It's more affordable. And also for our community that has like high blood pressure, diabetes, so shelf-stable food is not always the best for us. And so we really wanted to make sure that we gave fresh food. And so myself, Senator McKinney, former Senator Wayne, who's running for a clerk, John Kavanaugh, who's my current colleague and our current colleague running for Congress, as well as Eric Williams gave money to be able to support that. And so it is on our social media. It'll be at Miller Park. Folks can just drive through and get their food, fresh food boxes. And then shout out to Raquel Henderson, my District 13 constituent, and in the mayor's office, who set up the volunteers. And so we will have volunteers. She is coordinating all of that so that folks can get their boxes quick and keep going on. And so I think, from a long-term perspective and policy, our colleagues in the body, 17 of us, well, no, I think it was 16 in that letter actually, called for a special session so that we can be able to address not just SNAP, but Head Start and the lack of funding that is coming to early childhood. So that'll be our educators and some of our learning centers in North Omaha, as well as in South Omaha. And there's other Head Start programs in Greater Nebraska too. And so I think, it is not just SNAP. I think that is the most visible, but a lot of our social safety nets for people for basic needs are under attack. Housing is also going to make a difference too. And so I think we're trying to do all we can in that aspect. And then the other thing that I would uplift are just my interim hearings. So I have one more, but otherwise I got through all of my hearings. All but two got scheduled, which I think is really good. One of them is because Senator McKinney and we together on that interim hearing. So I don't know if that's going to get scheduled. But otherwise, I think we had a really good hearing around reentry housing that was held in Urban Affairs, as well as food access and security, actually around grocery stores. And what does that look like? So I will be bringing two bills, and hopefully we'll work with Urban Affairs, where Senator McKinney is the chair on those. I had a really good restrictive housing hearing, and it was good because I think it uplifted the issues that we're seeing with restrictive housing, but I was really disappointed in how corrections came in and did not have information prepared, and just kind of their interaction at that hearing, I think, was disappointing, and it kind of highlighted the opportunities that are in front of us around our family members and community members that are inside. So I feel like overall in the interim, it's been super busy. Senator McKinney and I got a tour today for Jack because we're working on this juvenile justice stuff and spending time with the county folks. So, I mean, it's busy, but good stuff.
Okay. Let's kind of stick with this corrections. Actually, I believe it was Flatwater just reported on a conversation about releasing some incarcerated individuals, and there was some back and forth with that. Can you kind of characterize what happened and your take on that and where the conversation is?
Yeah, Senator McKinney, do you want to start? Because I know you were. So because of the program and LB 50, I think Senator McKinney can give good context for that.
Please.
So they're starting a new program. It's called the PATH program. It's kind of like a furlough program where they used to do it in the past, where people who weren't necessarily at their time to be released, they were being let go home on like home confinement and those type of things. And it got discontinued and stopped because they was letting people out early, essentially. And they stopped it around the time Nico got out and did what he did. And there was a lot of backlash with it, but they want to bring a similar program back, which I said in the article that I'm not opposed to. The issue is it didn't go through the legislature. And my concern is that not that they'll let people out early, because I think, a lot of people in there do deserve to be released and allowed to go home. The issue is I think they're going to set up a lot of people for failure. And why I bring that up is a lot of people aren't getting programming right now or anything to assist with their transition, and they just essentially just want to like push people out. And I don't know if that's a good thing, especially when people haven't been given programming. They don't have they might not have housing and all those type of things. So I just would have rather it went through the legislature so we could put up more guardrails for around it to make sure that if people are being released, that they're being transitioned out properly, they have the proper support systems in the community to successfully return and stay out. Because what we don't want is them to start pushing people out and then somebody mess up and they use that one person as the precedent to why we can't make no changes in criminal justice like they do all the time with Nico.
They've been riding on that Nico thing for years too.
Yeah, and I think too what we saw at my hearing for restrictive housing. So my bill was in Judiciary Committee. Senator McKinney sits on Judiciary, and there was a conversation with the Director of Corrections around violent offenders, folks that maybe have a charge that is deemed violent, and what type of programming that they are going to have. And the programming that was there before they got rid of, they said it was it was not verified with data that it was successful or helpful. And so Senator McKinney was asking, well, like, okay, I understand this program has seemed not to be viable for what you're trying to achieve, what are you replacing it with? And there was no answer. And I think that is concerning. There was just an unfortunate murder-suicide that happened. And the person that committed the murder-suicide was in before for a violent offense. And from my understanding, there was no programming to address while they were inside. So they just literally did their time and came home. And then we saw this very tragic happening with them and their partner. And so I think to Senator McKinney's point, the programming that's happening or not happening, how we are preparing people to be successful and the best version of themselves when they come home is a question that we both have and that we keep asking that doesn't have clarity or strong answers around what is happening within that department.
Yes, that Senator Wayne kind of introduced us to the term jamming out, if you will, as far as people just getting out, which is interesting when you look at the statistics. And, you know, we even beyond even getting into the statistics in our community, we know when I say the word institutionalized, you know what that means. That means that you went in and you got worse because you were in there.
It so did exactly what it was supposed to do. Keep you coming back in a cycle.
Exactly. So
yeah, this hits close to home for us too. We work closely with 180 Rap program over at MCC, and so just understanding stuff like the Life program. We did a small documentary film on the Life program they have there, which it addresses that whole thing. They come out and they have full support is in the way that if they had family that could support them, then they would. Get this kind of support. So that's housing, that's rides to work, it's all the things that's needed. So this makes sense. And I was kind of wondering about it, Senator McKinney, because the news was saying you weren't for this, and now I'm understanding what you're saying about that. They can't just jam out without any support.
It was like a misquote. Like, I don't like, sometimes the media frustrate me because they mistitled things. I never said I didn't support it. It clearly says in the article, I support the program. I just think we need to think about the implementation of it and make sure like the right things are in place. So, because a lot of people was asking like, you don't support letting people out? I was like, right. Yeah. Like, did you not read the article?
Well, I mean, I did read it, and it wasn't clear. So I do appreciate you for taking the time to jump on a platform like this and clarify that.
And again, we read it in the media where there's a lot of clickbait titles and stuff going on to make you try to read it. We understand the process, but
it's the nature of it.
That's why we were like, well, he gonna be on the show Monday. We'll just ask him directly. So, yeah. I appreciate you clarifying that for sure. Very interesting stuff. And like I say, I appreciate the work because we've been working so closely with understanding what people need when they come out. Just on a personal level, just talking to actual folks. It's like I don't know what I would do if I didn't have the support. So more programs. I've just got to put a call out there for people to support programs for reentry. In a big way. And when you say that they wanted to go through the legislature first, is that why? So that you can make sure that they get the resources they need? How would you be able to do that as a legislator?
Yeah, we could, have better, I think we could have better discussions around like the implementation and make sure that, guardrails is in place, try to ensure that people get program, although the department disregards us all the time, but we could kind of lend our voice a little better in the process. They're going through the APA process, which, is what it is. I just would rather it go through the legislative process.
What's the APA process?
The administrative procedure process.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think to that point, there was a study that was done from the IG's office around mental health. So Doug Kopernik just published that, and it looks at and it has some recommendations around what the state could be doing better. So like having going through a specific certification around what we're doing with behavioral health of folks inside, because again, our prison system is one of the biggest mental health institutions, and it's not equipped to deal with mental health in the same way. And then also from the restrictive housing side, looking at, and I'm going to bring forth a couple of amendments to my current bill where people that have a mental health diagnosis or SMI, that they are not using restrictive housing. Because what is happening is if I have a diagnosis and I'm stabilized on meds, they're saying, okay, you can go into restrictive housing, and I might be in there for 2 years. Well, just because I'm on meds doesn't mean that that's not exasperating my mental health status and my diagnosis, which again is not setting me up for success and is not rehabilitative. And so I think we know all the issues and problems within our carceral system in general, and there are things that we could, as legislatures, really be focused on that try to allow for our folks to again be more successful when they come back home. And so I think that was Senator McKinney's point of like us seeing it and having oversight and having dialogue, and that it's not in this siloed space of someone making a decision that has currently a pattern of decision making that has not, I think, been the best from how the agency is ran.
Actually, speaking of that, I kind of wanted to pivot to the McCook of it all, because while obviously you are actively working as legislators to, make time or make life in general easier for those formerly incarcerated, even help, get some out. There's active, jamming and cramming of people into the McCook situation. Where is that at? I know there's been some requests about getting more clarity and more transparency on the contracts. Have you received any responses? Where is that situation?
Currently it's just, a wait to see type of situation. Nobody's in McCook. The OIG sent out a memo yesterday to members of the Judiciary Committee and said he did a visit last week and it was empty. They added some beds, I believe, but nobody's in there right now. So I'm not sure exactly when. I'm sure it's within the next week or two where they'll start trying to fill it up or something. So that court case is still in process where the judge dismissed both arguments from the individuals who filed against the state and the state. In that article, it's kind of misleading too, saying like, oh, the judge just, said it could stay open. The judge really didn't say that. He said it had to continue so he could better hear their arguments. So we'll see how that happens.
Okay, but the lawsuit from the 13 McCook residents is still ongoing.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Media these days, bro. I swear.
Yeah, man. Well, we're trying to clear it up. And I think there's just a lot of nuance to a lot of this stuff, and especially when you get into the legislation of it all, how the bill is presented versus the devil in the details, if you will, of the bill, and of course how not only how it's presented but how it's implemented plays a big part. Which of course we've all learned a lot about that process just through these kind of conversations with you all. So thank you for that. Paul, you got any?
Yeah, I wanted to jump in real quick because we got Jason Whitmer in the chat from you. Yeah, if you missed his interview, please go back to YouTube and check it out. We had a great talk with him. He said larger portion of NDCS money needs to go to community ran programs and reentry organizations. For sure, on the same page there with that one. Also, he says OIG does so great deep dives into what's happening in our prison systems, then provide recommendations, which often is ignored by the department despite them being helpful all around. So, something to look into too, man. Appreciate you coming in on this subject.
On the appropriation side, that's the committee I sit on, which is like the state budget for folks. And so we approve every branch of government, our judicial, executive, which is the governors, and then the ledge. I've been trying to reappropriate money from the prison to programs because we know with LB 50 and then with this new program, what they're trying to do, like our population will decrease. We can put money into the deferred maintenance of NSP because it is a shithole. Can I say that on here?
No,
but you did.
Okay, well then we'll keep going. We'll know for next time. So we can do the deferred maintenance, but ideally population is decreasing. And if you are looking at proactive smart justice reform, like like diversion courts where people are getting the support around addiction, behavioral health. Like if you're addressing why they have now become system impacted and then focused on reentry programs, you would see a difference in our prison system where we don't need a new prison. And so that money that was appropriated could be better spent from the state. And I think we are going to see, as tariffs are high and construction costs are higher, what was actually budgeted and they signed the contract for is not what it's going to actually cost the state. And so, and on top of that, they're not decommissioning NSP. So what are they going to use it for? To me is a big concern, because then they're just going to have two facilities that are full and overcrowded, and we're going to continue to fill with bodies. And so I think Jason brings up a good point for what we could do differently with our choices in the legislature. Like, what do we prioritize with the money that are taxpayer dollars? It's better spent than what we're doing now.
And you got to know that there's, those who decided to, invest taxpayer dollars into these prisons. That's incentive to fill them. That is incentive to fill them. Take from that what you will.
Yep. Let's shift gears a little bit. I see Majimila Jenkins in the chat asking, have either of the senators been trained in mutual aid, and would they be interested in participating in a mutual aid training? We've been talking a lot about mutual aid this past probably 2 or 3 weeks now, because we always come to that point in the show when we say, okay, this is happening, but how is it that we can take care of ourselves and take care of each other as well? And this mutual aid concept that is new to me is coming up. It's new in the sense that it's a concept, mutual aid, and there's some training behind it. I feel like it's what Black people have been doing all our lives anyway, and it's probably a lot that comes from that. But on that side of things, is there anything in the legislature? Is there any bills? Or is there anything that you guys are pushing that has some of that kind of something behind that, a mutual aid, the way that we can all help each other as well, and not just how we have to depend on anybody else coming in? Is this something that a concept that you guys are familiar with?
So I can start. So yes, I run a reproductive justice org, and so we do mutual aid. I've been trained in mutual aid from other organizations, Black-led organizations actually, that have been doing mutual aid for decades. And so I would say I'm always open to learning. So, being in space with community, but I have been trained. We have done some mutual aid specifically around housing and then pregnant folk support at IBBG. And then I think the traditional, like how you look at mutual aid, I don't have any policies that align in that same way. What lends itself to the concept of mutual aid and what we do is like the economic policy that we've been trying to bring. I would say like Senator McKinney and his history with economic policy, and then what I brought in my first session, I think lends itself to the concept of how do you build and provide for yourself and like are able to self-determine for your community. Those types of systemic changes make the difference, because policy drives your day to day. And I think a lot of folks only think about it from the city perspective, because it is the closest, right? You live in that city or the county, but the state also has a lot of influence over what these other levels of government do and how it shows up. And so I think for me, that's where I situate kind of that approach or framework is in my economic opportunity policy.
Word.
And Senator McKinney, you can speak to that.
Yeah, I've never been formally trained in mutual aid or anything, but I feel like I've been practicing it since my inception, growing up, but just always being willing to share resources with my family and people in the community. And it's just who I am as a person. So, I've never been trained in it, but I feel like it's something I practice inherently as an individual here in Omaha. As far as legislation, anything I try to do is try to, make sure that, we are trying to self-empower ourselves as much as possible, to not rely on the state, because I think the state is not the vehicle or the avenue in which we can truly empower ourselves. It's benefits within it where we can give resources to each other and to our communities, but at the end of the day, I don't think we should rely on the state to help us, because the state, especially the state we live in, as we all can see and people complain about, don't care about us and has never cared about us. So wouldn't try to rely on the state from an aid perspective, as sad as that might be for some people. But I do try to do my part in the legislature to give resources back to the community as much as possible, so we can be economically and self-independent as a community, so we can help each other.
Man,
Yeah.
to that note, I'm thinking of the legislation that you actually just got passed, the Family Resource Bill. Is kind of feeling like it's along that lines as far as just not necessarily legislating the whole mutual aid, but at least giving a platform or an avenue for individuals in the community to share resources. Is that an accurate description?
Yeah, that's accurate. That's probably like the second bill that I've passed that kind of was around trying to make sure that we centralize resources so people could actually get the resources that they need and the help that they need. I think the first one was more on the business side with the Innovation Hub Act bill to try to centralize that so people could get assistance with their businesses and things like that. But with the Family Resource Center, when you talk to parents that have kids involved in the system, they hear about all these resources, but they don't know where to go. And I just always felt like that was a problem.
Any timelines on that?
I'm not sure. Me and DHHS, we go back and forth all the time. They supposed to put out a application sometime. I don't know when. They ain't replied to that email. So
thus the problem with relying on the state.
Exactly.
There you go.
Speaking of DHHS, I kind of want to get you guys' comment on what just happened here in this lawsuit that's coming up. We've all seen this. We've all been pretty mad about the messaging that includes having a black family. I think they had another family on here first, and then they switched it up. When people started complaining about this post, they put a black family up after the fact to really drive that home. So I'll see you over there. Senator Spivey, let me start with you because you.
No, I need you to start with Senator McKinney about it. That's why I am laughing. I need you to start with him, please.
And I do want y'all to add in the fact that y'all Democrats. Like, what is the vibe right now?
I need you to start with him, please.
All right. So I made my post, which I would never take back because it was wild. That was a wild post that they would do that. So then I sent the email to not all of them, but the high ups at DHHS, and I'm gonna read you their reply to me.
Oh, exclusive. So this is what I wrote to. I was like, I'm writing to request an explanation regarding the use of an image depicting a black family on your Snap webpage, which I find racist. Additionally, I would like to understand why a state agency is referencing Democrats in the government shutdown, which appears to be a violation of the Hatch Act. So then they reply, which I was actually surprised they replied. It was like, Senator, thank you for your email. The image of the family you inquired about was posted on our website on October 20th. 10 days before the website banner appeared on the website. The image is no way related to the banner. The image on the Snap page is produce. DHHS regularly changes the picture on our website to depict the changes in the season. The same photo was used last year. The purpose of the photo was to visualize a family in the fall. We try to pick imagery that represents all races across the site. The message in the banner was added per consultation with the governor's office. The governor is within his authority to issue this statement. It has been updated to eliminate any confusion, which was by the governor. And then they said they advocate for 150,000 Nebraskans. So I replied, your statement regarding the image used on the website, particularly the assertion that its prior use negates the problematic nature, highlights a concerning lack of cultural and racial competency within the department. The outrage expressed by the public and even anonymous individuals within your agency underscores the inappropriateness of the image. It is important to consider why the image was changed if you felt like it was acceptable. Furthermore, the partisan message displayed on the site exceeds the authority of DHHS and the governor's office. Thank you for your reply, which unfortunately reinforces my perspective regarding the Department of Hell, Harm, and Suffering.
Man. And to clarify, Brother Anthony Rogers right in the chat with a little more info on the Hatch Act. He says it's a U.S. federal law that limits the partisan political activities of federal employees to prevent political coercion and maintain a merit-based civil service, especially in a state that's supposed to be a unicameral. Again, what is the vibe? What is the vibe when dealing with your Republican counterparts as they this game of finger pointing intensifies?
I mean, it's tough. Like coming in as a freshman, one of the things that they talked about was the institution of that we have this unicameral because it's not partisan, how you have to work across the aisle, you have to work your votes, you don't have the whip and people telling you have more autonomy. And I think, it's not that
Sounds
way.
good.
Like, yeah,
Sounds good.
you see party politics now more than ever. I think a lot of it is driven by the federal landscape. And so, you see it. I have folks that have killed or IPP'd my bill because I'm a Democrat and a Black woman and they wanted to teach me a lesson. Like those were their exact words. And so like that is hard when and I feel like for me, I'm working on issues that it doesn't matter your party, your geography, like everyone should care about childcare, or everyone should care about TANF. Everyone should care about housing. Like these are things that span some of those more divisive social issues where we don't agree, like on abortion. Like I expect Republicans in the body when I'm doing a filibuster on a backdoor abortion ban to be really upset with me. I expect that, like that, so I think it's really difficult for me because, and we don't have the numbers, so they don't have to work with you. There's a super majority around a certain ideology, whether you agree with Democrats or not. The ideology that has a super majority does not align to working people even a little bit. And so they do not have to consult you or to make a decision around the things that are impacting people's day to day. So what you do is play defense all day. I play a lot of defense to try to mitigate the harm that is being caused.
Yeah, you were talking about that fact that you haven't had the energy to push the things through that you're trying to because you're in this position of having to play defense a lot now. In that in an ideal situation you'd be able to push forward in different ways. So I can imagine. I always like to hear when especially when you're speaking as a freshman, like you said, coming in and getting those fresh eyes. That's exactly how I would feel if I was in there, first and peeping everything that's going on. We've been hearing from the outside that it's supposed to be nonpartisan, but we've been seeing that it's actually not. And to hear stuff like them telling you to your face, they're trying to teach you a lesson.
Yeah,
that's crazy. That's crazy work.
I mean. Yeah, that kind of takes me to the next question. I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, but I definitely want to touch on this whole birthright citizenship situation. I mean, speaking of putting people in their place, if you will, one of Nebraska's attorney general joined that the likes of 24 other attorney generals questioning the validity and the understanding of the 14th Amendment, fundamental legislation, fundamental laws that kind of built, especially of us as Black people who are coming out of slavery around the time when these bills were implemented, now being questioned. What are your thoughts about that, especially coming from the Attorney General of Nebraska?
I mean, they told us they was going to challenge everything, I mean, none of this comes as a surprise or as a secret that they're challenging everything. And it's not to be successful, I don't think. I think they're challenging everything to see how far they could take it. I don't know if they truly think, maybe they do, that they'll be successful, but I think they feel as though they could push the line that much further to where some things are taken back. So, and it's pretty much like a blitz in a sense, where they're going to just try everything and do everything and then try to see where they land at in the middle. And the courts, are appointed, a lot of judges are, on their side. So it's going to be interesting, but I'm not surprised, I mean, it's just, they told us, so we just got to adapt to it.
And for the Project 2025 of it all, just listing off the name of states who attorneys general signed on to this. Again, basically half the country, mostly Republican states: Tennessee, Alabama, Alaska, Arkansas, Georgia, Florida, Idaho, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, North Dakota, Oklahoma, South Carolina, South Dakota, Texas, Utah, West Virginia, and Wyoming are all on the amicus brief. I hope, Senator McKinney, that you're right, that this isn't about, success and just trying to stir the pot. But we'll see. What say you, Senator Spivey?
Well, I mean, I think, yeah, I think they do feel emboldened, and I think they are testing the waters, but so far they have proven to be successful. So they are challenging everything. We're waiting on the case out of Louisiana around voting rights still, and what does that look like? And I read, so IBBG brought Nicole Hannah-Jones for our summit. Was that this year? What year is it?
It was this year.
I'm like, was that last year or this year? Oh, this feels like a warp zone. Okay, for this year in August. My God. And so one of the things that she just said the other day, because I still follow her on social, and she just shared this, and it was a really interesting conversation, because I think like we are having community-based folks and movement leaders are sitting in the space of understanding fascism, if they haven't before, and like where we are now, like where are we in our democracy and where this country is going. And one of the things that she reshared or brought up, I don't know if it was her or the person that like she tagged in the post that said this, was talking about the playbook of America, specifically around Black people. Like if you look at Jim Crow laws and how Hitler used that around what they did, like we have been the playbook, specifically Black folks in this country, and Black with the capital B. So like across the diaspora, around what we see as fascism, and America has never named it. We have never talked about it in that same way. And so we have ignored some of that acknowledgement, and I would say like reconciliation around what has happened and like how we move forward. And now we're at a place where we can't ignore. And so the space that we are in is not new, especially for us. But how do we actually sit in that history and then try to create a new strategy, right, from what we know to be true already and what they've already shown us? And I think that to me feels applicable now with like the court cases and the laws in like 2025. Like, of course, I wasn't born around some of these times. But again, like understanding that history and how do we build our capacity and knowledge to use that for what we're seeing as like our movement and our fight has really been kind of like what I've been trying to sit in around that. And so like to your question, I think for me, I'm like, okay, if we've been here before, what do I need to learn know about us being here before in order to say like, what is our strategy? What do we need to do? Because it's not a new playbook. It's just, it has been adapted, right? It keeps evolving in how they show up and have these oppressive systems and laws. And so that's just kind of where I've been with that.
Yeah. Same place. I appreciate it, brother. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to jump in real quick. Appreciate what you guys are saying in the chat. 8:17 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, we're well into the second hour in First Sky Omaha in the morning. This is the Senator Cypher, and we're checking in today with Senator Terrell McKinney, Senator Ashlei Spivey. I appreciate everybody who's in the chat and making comments and questions. If you have any questions, we got them for maybe another few minutes. So I highly suggest you go ahead and get them in now. And just wanted to kind of update people. If you're just joining us, this is what's going on right now. We're checking in with the senators in a big way. So we appreciate y'all coming. You okay over there, Senator McKinney? Had a little technical difficulty there?
Yeah, my laptop randomly shut down to update.
That's happened to us a couple times on the show.
Yeah. So thanks for fighting through that and joining us back. And I do appreciate what Senator Spivey was just saying. To that point, we've been talking about the Negro problem here on the show, and for those who aren't familiar, again, around the Emancipation Proclamation, around the time when we were let out of slavery, the question of what to do with us next was a big question. And here we are with the birthright citizenship being, coming into question. And while I agree and hope that you're right as far as Senator McKinney, that they won't be successful in this, it is something that we all need to be paying attention to because of where the conversation and the thought leads. Again, if you're not familiar, Birthright citizenship deals with those who are born in America. The idea that citizenship is guaranteed to everyone born in the United States doesn't square with the plain language of the 14th Amendment or the way many government officials and legal analysts understand the law when it was adopted after the Civil War. That's according to Attorney General Scrimity, who, again, is from Tennessee and wrote this. He says, if you look at the law at the time, citizenship attached to the kids who are parents were lawfully in the country. Each child born in this country is precious, no matter their parents' immigration status. But not every child is entitled to American citizenship. This case could allow the Supreme Court to resolve a constitutional question with far-reaching implications for the states and our nation. And I'm just wondering, again, if you're talking about parents who weren't legally in this country, again, there was a time when slaves were still being brought into this country illegally. So once you start to question that ground, you start to unravel and start to lay the ground for certain groups and individuals to question our ability and right to be here.
Well, and I think it's just also weird that like Trump's kids and his wife, like that's them. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just also like really weird because they like white immigrants, right? Like are exempt. And we see this for folks of color and immigrants and new Americans. And I will also say this, that I think my colleagues, and I had this conversation about the ICE facility, is that this playbook, again, has been tested on Black folks with a capital B. And people do not engage. They do not engage when there's a discussion about the overcrowding in our prison system or racial profiling. And then it gets to your door. They use it on one group and then it goes to the next, right? Mm-hmm. And they've tested the model. They know it works. And so then they use it to then further oppress other groups. And then folks are all enraged around this detention center, it being a concentration camp. Yes, it is. And where were you 5 years ago, a year ago, last month around these issues? And so you cannot pick and choose when you want to try to advocate for issues of systemic oppression and how you want people to show up. Like if I'm not impacted, I still should be advocating for other groups because I know that it's going to eventually come to me. And I should want my neighbors to be well, right? Like I should want my community to be well. And people in their advocacy is very binary, like they focus here and only if it impacts them in what they deem to be their communities. And we are never going to see true liberation or freedom if that's how we are setting up our movements and our advocacy. And so like I think folks need to expand and dig in. If you are not food insecure or you're not navigating having to have SNAP benefits, so what? You should be advocating. If you don't have kids in Head Start, you should be like everyone should be figuring out their lane and their advocacy around these issues, whether you're impacted or not.
Well said. Appreciate that. I just want to jump in the chat just a little bit before we let you go here. Shout out to I think this is her Bean MD is in the chat saying where we are is having to realize and know we are the originals of this land. We're in the country of continuity of government. History was a lie. Starting with the black label. All respect. I appreciate that you putting in some perspective there. Also, shout out to Paul Philman. Hold on 1 second here. Let me turn you down. Paul Philman is asking, what's the latest update on efforts to address solitary confinement law violations? Shout out to Paul Philman that stays up on these things. Yeah, great question. Anybody have any news there?
So that's my bill that I had the interim hearing on. It was for adult restrictive housing and juveniles. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know if you were on the show a little bit earlier, Paul, but I kind of talked about just some of the disappointment a little bit and how I think the agency came in and the information. But the chair of the committee, Senator McKinney is also on judiciary, but Chair Bazin is who leads that committee. We are going to follow up with each other on some amendments that I have. I have a current a current pending amendment on my original bill. And then after the hearing, I've started to work on a few other amendments that would further kind of refine the juvenile piece and get in some continuity of how it's used, how things are measured and reporting. And then on the adult side, I am, and from the hearing and then the report from Doug with IG, I'm looking at like not having folks with SMIs or that mental health diagnosis to even be in restrictive housing. I'm still looking at changing it from looking at it from the week perspective today of out of cell time. And so that is moving. I will have those amendments at the top of the session, which starts in January. And then I have to try to work my votes with the folks on the committee to see if I can get it out of committee to the floor. And it is a short session. And things that carried over from first session will be worksheet order. So I'd have to try to find a path for it if I want it to pass, if I don't prioritize it. So that's just kind of where I am on that.
Cool. Appreciate the update. Shout out to Roscoe Wallace in the chat. Give us a good morning. He also says, my belief and confidence in taking Omaha to the next level is predicated on you senators and our black political delegation and our support of you. Appreciate you, sister and brother senators. Let's ride.
Hey.
That's what's up. Majee Miller Jenkins asked a question earlier, dropping this question again. What are accountability options for Pillin, both destroying the state in health through his business practices and violating the Hatch Act, destroying the democracy? What are some of the, she's been keeping track of some of these accountability points. You guys got any comments on that?
I mean, number one is he's up for election next year, re-election. That's number one. I mean, the other options are kind of, maybe impeachment or something through the legislature, but you got to convince the people who won't speak out against him to push that. I mean, when we get back in session, we can introduce legislation to address a lot of those issues to try to prevent them from being able to do a lot of those things going further. So, so those are the options, honestly. I mean, we're out of session, so it's not, so we're super limited in what we can and can't do. We could try to get a special session call, but you need enough senators to hop on board with that as well. So, I mean, there's options, but I don't know if the options, just honestly speaking, are realistic because of his party affiliation and them being unwilling to hold him accountable.
The majority of them being in the legislature. Yeah, that's interesting. It's supposed to be nonpartisan, but we can always predict what's going to happen based on who's doing what party. I appreciate that. Marlon Harrison, before I forget, he said this earlier too. Congratulations to Senator Ashlei Spivey for being honored with the Viking of Distinction Award. How does it feel getting your flowers?
It feels so good, Via. I love North, and North was such an important part of my my journey. And I will also say this, like, I was bad in high school. Literally, I was a straight A student. I was an honor student. I was a cheerleader and I played volleyball, but I was fighting. There are things that I'm like, I'm so glad I made it through. And I was nothing but the grace of God and my mama on my neck. And I say that to say, like, we have these ideas of like kids now and what they're doing. Like my good sis Raquel just posted those kids skipping school smoking. That was me. Like, that was me. But with accountability and teachers and administrators that just don't throw you away, just don't suspend you, but continue to pour into you, like, that makes a difference. And so I had, I always shout out Coach Lee, who's now the principal at Westview. He was my administrator, and he kept me from getting suspended a lot. And I would come down to his office and have to do my work. He would talk to my mom. I mean, like, it makes a difference. And so I feel honored to be able to represent North in this way. But I also like to tell people, like, our kids have a lot of adult experiences, and they're just navigating how they come into themselves. And we got to love them differently, and cannot throw them away, because we're throwing away the next president, the next senator, the next governor, the major business leader. And so that just needs to be very different. But I feel honored in it, and I hope I represent North well. So
that's so funny. It's so funny that you say that. Precious in the chat too. Good morning, First Sky family. I think about you guys back in school and what you just said. I know y'all got in some fights back then. Ain't no way the way you speak and the way Precious speaks that y'all wasn't fighting in high school.
Listen, it builds character. Here we are.
You still fighting.
Listen, and I just, again, like you are trying to figure it out, and things are just, it's hard. And kids, I think, have way more adult things that they're having to navigate than at least I did. And so it's like we gotta hold these kids differently. I'm not even engaging with pressure right now.
See,
I can see it. I'm not engaging. But and we gotta love our kids differently and show them. And I think for me, what I hope with the Vikings of Distinction, like I want to tell these kids this, like, listen, like I was ripping and running these hallways in these streets, and look what I'm able to do now that hopefully shows you that you can do it and you have the inherent skill and talent, and we see you and we believe in you, and so that's my goal. But again, it's an honor.
Love it. Any final words? Any final words of positivity or anything that you got over here, Senator McKinney, before we get out of here?
Fellow Viking.
Yeah, definitely. Be up. We used to.
But he's younger than me though, right? So he's like, he was an underclassman when I was an upperclassman.
We used to try to skip the Viking of Distinction ceremony. Like, yeah, that was a mass.
That is skip day. Yes,
mass leader school day.
Literally. I told my friend Erin, who I went to school with, and I was like, girl, I got this award. She was like, we used to skip that day. I was like, did we? Like, she's like, yeah, we never went. And I was like, okay. I got a plan for nobody to be there. Got it.
That's hilarious.
You always get caught in it when you're a freshman. You don't know what you don't know.
That's funny. Well, that's what's up, man. I appreciate you guys, and I love the last part of this with picking up the school, man. I didn't go. I didn't grow up here, so I didn't go to school here, but my sister did, and I lived down there when my first place I moved when I got here was down the street from North. So like, I definitely feel affiliation for the school. Everybody who's in my close circle kind of went. You know what I mean? Like I'd be like, V's up too, even though I didn't go. You know what I'm saying?
Honorary Viking.
You can't do that.
Right.
But you can come to the celebration. I got y'all. Y'all can come to the celebration with me. It's in May.
That's okay. Appreciate that.
But I guess my words would be: everybody just stay strong, stay united. These are tough times that we're dealing with. Some say unprecedented, but look at history and say, we've been through similar times in the past. And I think the biggest thing is just sticking together, trying to find ways to be of community, be with community, and try to weather the storm together. I think that's the best thing. I think they want us to be divided, want us to be in the streets, and so they could justify all their actions. And I just feel like, we just can't let them win. That's my biggest advice.
Yeah.
Word. Appreciate that. Any final words, Senator Spivey?
I +1 that. And then I just hope, folks, if you are needing fresh food, you come out to our fresh food drive on Wednesday. I just want to reiterate that it's from 5 until the boxes are out. We have 345 boxes. People can start lining up at 4:30. Again, it is myself, Senator McKinney, former Senator Wayne, who's running for clerk, Director Eric Williams at OPPD, and then John Kavanaugh, who's running for Congress and is the current senator. We put our monies together to be able to do this. And then shout out to Raquel with the city for organizing volunteers and making sure we can use Miller Park in that space. And so again, it's on our social media. If you guys are on social, but if you're not, it's this Wednesday, 5 p.m. drive through 345 fresh produce boxes.
I was looking on your social media for that flyer. I couldn't find it. So if you could send me on Instagram. Okay, I did see it.
It's on my Senator Spivey, and it's pinned at the top. It's like gray and green because we just made it in Canva really quick.
Okay. All right, we'll pull that and put that in.
I'm going to tag you in it. I'll tag First Guy.
Sounds good. Appreciate it. We're going to go ahead and let you guys get going. I appreciate you guys coming through today. It's always a pleasure to do Senator Cypher with y'all. Appreciate y'all for real.
Peace.
Y'all have a great week.
You too. Be safe.
Peace. All right. Again, always a pleasure. Talk to them and get the word. Appreciate everybody's comments and questions. And sorry didn't we get to all of them, but yeah, just appreciate that very much. Precious, you got me over here cracking up. There ain't no way that y'all
Put
would
them
scrap.
paws on them.
She said I had them hands. She said I was a little firecracker. Spent many days in school suspension room.
Mm.
Yep. She says it's crazy how we raised hell in those schools, and now we are celebrated by those same teachers. So many teachers, I think, in OPS for loving me and allowing me to see my potential. I heard that. That's what's up.
So it's
That's
about.
what it's
Hey,
about.
you need folks that's not just gonna throw you away.
I heard that too. I was thinking about that. I was looking at a picture of the mayor's office and Raquel over there too, and I was like, I know she was a firecracker in high school too.
Yeah.
I got word on that. So
Yeah.
again, these sisters out here, and like you said, buddy, still fighting,
Mm-hmm.
and we appreciate you. We appreciate the fight in y'all for real.
Yeah.
We'll take a quick break and come right back and finish out the show. We got about a little bit less than half an hour left. It's 8:34 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, feels weird. Time change, I guess. Time. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
I'll be buddy to God. Welcome back. First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, that's me. Buddy to God, that's him.
Hey.
Talib Kweli, that's him. He coming on November 5th as well, man. November 5th. What's going on with November 5th?
Going down.
Everything happening on November 5th. And then I guess you can top it off with going to check out Talib at the waiting room later that night after you do all the things. So shout out to everybody who was behind putting this on. Shout out to Waiting Room, 1% Production Cats. It's always good when they can bring some high level artists into town like this, and when those high level artists really have been here before and kind of know what's good here and want to come back. It's always encouraging. I come from a place where they always are there, so to be in a place where they're never here really stands out when they come to town and really understand that there are black people in Omaha. All good stuff. So.
What?
They know now. I tell you what, Bud Crawford beating it into them that there's some black folks in Omaha for real.
Yeah. Whooping feet by any means.
Whooping feet is going down. Also, I wanted to give a shout out to Senator Megan Hunt, who's also got a food drive going on. Here's some information on that. They're starting yesterday in Benson, and there's a bunch of places in Benson where there can be some food drop-offs. Looks like drop-off sites are pretty much every business in Benson, just about. So there you go, and they even give a list of needed items. And then, of course, the distribution are a proud partner with Benson High School as central distribution location. So they enlisted the school as well. There's more details. Of course, you can hit the QR code there. And there's other ways to give too. Monetary donations will go towards grocery store gift cards for families at Benson High School, Monroe Middle School, Rose Hill Elementary, Benson West Elementary, Fontanelle Elementary, and Montessori Co-op. So lots of individual organizations involved with this one. Mm-hmm. And shout out to the Benson Creative District as well. Shout out to them. Shout out to BFF. Shout out to Megan Hunt with her store in Benson, in the Benson area. As Amy Ryan says, Benson is the North Side.
Hey.
So shout out to everybody who's doing that. Also want to give a quick shout out to our friends over at the Parlor Awards that nominated Buddy to God over here, man. Check out the Parlor Awards are happening November. It said vote by November 7th, actually, for your favorite artists here. So you can hit that QR code and jump in. I haven't had a chance to dive too much into the nomination process and the voting process over here with the Parlor Awards for our friends over there at Stable Gray, but I'm anxious to dig in. But I appreciate all the fanfare they've been given for a lot of the artists around town. And then, of course, our own Buddy to God.
Hey. Yeah, shout out. Stable Gray fam.
Shout out to Stable Gray, man. Yeah, doing some things for real. We didn't get into it quite yet, but I highly suggest you go check out Sermon by Sherman that happened last night. The latest one. He's over there on YouTube. I think he did his on Instagram and Facebook as well, but they only stay on there limited, so go check him out on YouTube.
Man.
But he talked about this incident that happened at MP Mart on 30th Street. Played the video. Highly suggest you go to his page and check that out. Check the video out of this dude here calling out some black woman, all kinds of names.
He didn't call her out. He called her out her name. Yeah.
There you go. And there was some other points to this video that I missed the first time around. And shout out to Sherman Wells for pointing it out. There was a young black man there right at the end of the video that was like, you need to quit calling her that. And it sounded like it was about to chime up right before the video stops. Highly suggest you go to Sherman Wells page, Sherman L. Wells on Facebook and YouTube, and check out his sermon with Sherman, and also the video that he played within this. Definitely check it out. There's a lot of people in our community talking about this for sure, calling for boycotts and all kinds of stuff coming up. So we'll be keeping you posted on all those things. We appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Yep. Also, jumping in the chat real quick. Christy Norris in the chat. Good morning. Congratulations and good luck on your run. I want to give you some good luck every time you come on. She says, I was there testifying Friday, and the way some of those white acted was appalling. I can only imagine how they treat black folks. Where were you testifying at? What were we missing there? Yeah, let us know where you were testifying. I appreciate that comment as well. Precious is saying Black Caucus event this Thursday at NOMA 6 to 8. January 6th, Capitol Police Officer Harry Dunn, music by Chad Stoner, is going down at NOMA on Thursday. That's very, very interesting. Mike Lee called too, wanted to get on. Maybe we can have him on Wednesday to talk about the show right before our Thursday event that's happening. Appreciate the information. Marlon Harrison says, I just stayed in the cut and recorded the drama in high school and posted in on World Star Hip Hop.
World Star. No wonder you're a citizen journalist. That makes sense. It makes sense. It makes sense.
Right, talking about what they did in their North years. Yeah. So funny. RG said, buddy hit the pose like he was just put together the hottest club banger for next summer.
Hey, look out.
Bang. That's right. Hottest for next summer coming. Precious says Douglas County Commissioner will be allocating some major money to local pantries, and Black Men United will be one of those organizations. Oh, finally. I'm glad they're going to get a little love. Thank you for Chris Rogers for making sure Black Men United receives money to help their pantry. That's what's up. Okay. Just want to give another shout out to Dave Pontos, friend First Sky Omaha, that put out a match of $750, and everybody raised some funds for Black Men United. He said they exceeded that match, and we can continue to help them out as well. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in the chat. Hit this link and go over there and donate to them. Highly suggest that you do that. Appreciate that very much. Gwen Easter in the chat. I rarely get a chance to read hers, but I'm gonna give her a moment here right now. She said, I had the energy to help gatekeeper Tim Clark. We're already calling people out. Mr. Foley and Governor Pillen and other black gatekeepers listed in John Carter lawsuit hijacked the Commission on African American Affairs using the LB 69 bill. Senator Spivey and Tim covered up the fact that they made changes behind our commission. Backs that was in the original bill 918. We are only agreed to meetings and reporting changes in January, and it was broadcast on the news. She didn't mind working with the two Republicans, then buying into the false negative, claiming dysfunction because of Tim, Melinda, Dorothy, Trevor, Connie, and others' commission agendas to hijack the commission for money, position, and to get her a win. Her only winning bill she won't talk about because she don't want the backlash of black people knowing that they dodged out the black commission and community for Tim and give Pillen control, and he never had over the commission until LB 69. Okay, so there's a lot of things there that we'll have to get into and unpack, and we need to get some receipts on and so on and so forth. So I appreciate you're always being willing to tell your story and let us know what's going on there, and we'll have to dig in a little bit deeper on a lot of things that we can. So I appreciate you continuing to come in and like I said, tell your story. We'll get to the bottom of a lot of this when we can, and we'll be talking to some of the people involved as well. So I'm sorry that we didn't get that question on while Senator Spivey was on, but we'll come back to her and maybe ask her that off show and come back with that again and address this another time. So I appreciate you. Linda Lathan says that video is disgusting. Talking about the video from MP Dodge again. This is probably going to be a boycott that's going to end up happening here. Sherman Wells is kind of heading those things up. Heard him on the phone with the owner the other day. Owner was trying to do some real backpedaling.
Man,
I'll let Sherman Wells tell it, but we'll see what's happening there.
yeah,
So,
not MP Dodge, MP Mart. You saying
NP Mart. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, not NP Dodge. Precious McKinney says, I never went to NP Mart. Never will. I think they put water in their gas. Ooh.
They might.
Ooh, goodness. That's deep. That's real deep. Also, Kimmer's in the chat saying, walking to the Fabric Lab for a 3-hour strategy session with Spark CDI. Shout out to Spark CDI. I went to one of their meetings last week, a couple weeks ago now, I guess, as well. Doing some good work, and they hired a couple people over there, man. Our handler Daisy from DED is now working at Spark CDI. So is Tall Twin. So there's some people there that I'm like, okay, let's see what they really got going on right now, and figure out what's happening. So shout out to Spark CDI, all the work they're doing, the trail and everything else they got going on. I can't wait to learn more for sure.
Man.
Yep. Sorry about that, Mama God. Not MP Dodge, MP Mart. Well, it's the one over there on 30th Street, next to Phil's.
Man, it used to be Big Jim's too, which kind of, Jim was, part of the community. I mean, it's staple, and now here we are. So, not 30th and Lake, 30th and Ames, right across from the right behind the Burger King.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So there you go, 8:45. If you believe in the concept of time, you're still with us. I really appreciate that very much. Do us a favor and share tell a friend that this goes on Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 7 to 9. Conversation that we have about what's going on in our community with the community. That's kind of what this is all about. So again, really appreciate everybody who is getting down with us. And don't forget Native American Heritage Month. Man. And, man, Heritage for Peace. Shout out to the Umaha tribe, who we've spoken to before we got this thing going. We asked them for allowing us to be on the land. They gave us the blessing, said go ahead and speak. And so every time something comes up, we definitely try to get down with them. Shout out to Marlon Harrison, who was talking about the things he's going to do for the Native American Heritage Month and what he's going to spotlight and all the facts that he's bringing to our attention as well. Fact 2, the Omaha tribe main homeland is in northeastern Nebraska. So I appreciate that. Again, you can look at some of these facts and see Marlon's post over on Friends of First Sky Omaha. And engage with them. Go ahead and get into the comments and talk about what it means to you, what it means to us, what we're going to do, how we can recognize a lot of stuff going on, man. And I definitely want to talk about them because, buddy, you said something earlier. We kind of stumbled on this. We were watching a nation handle their business, a nation within a nation. And this is actually what we need as black folks is to really build this. You want to dive in a little bit and talk about what they got going on?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I appreciate that setup. Definitely kind of where my mind is. And just as we work through, this Native American Heritage Month, kind of really do want to touch on what Herbean was saying, Herbean MD was saying in the chat earlier, as far as, our connection to this land, as far as being quote unquote black folk and who, the natives are and what that really means, especially as we have attorneys general across the nation looking at birthright citizenship and having questions of citizenship and this whole identity conversation as ICE runs rampant throughout the nation is a very pertinent conversation to have. And again, undoubtedly, you've seen how quote unquote black citizens are being treated, i.e. Chicago. And so again, the conversation needs to be had and addressed, and also looking at how some tribes, when it is set up, when people are allowed to have an identity, when people are allowed to have self-autonomy, what that means and what that looks like. Again, big shout out to the Omaha tribe, who is pushing forward in the face of what they're calling retaliation from Nebraska's attorney general. Again, the Omaha tribe of Nebraska is moving ahead with the legalization of marijuana on its reservation, a move the tribe's attorney general says Nebraska officials used to suspend negotiations on an unrelated state tribal tobacco tax compact. Again, using other deals to basically make them do what they want. Again, the tribe called the move direct retaliation. And this coming from Omaha tribe attorney general John Cartier, who says an assistant attorney general for the state called him Monday, an hour before the meeting was supposed to take place. Cartier learned that state officials would no longer negotiate on a tobacco tax compact because of the state's more permissive position on marijuana. Again, if you remember, the voters of Nebraska, the people of Nebraska did vote to legalize marijuana. And that has been one of the bills where the legislation has at every turn try to act like the people didn't know what they were voting for. And they're dragging their feet on commissions that were supposed to regulate the legislation. So now, not only are they undermining their own constituents and the people who they are directly supposed to represent, but they're trying to undermine the people who have their own autonomy and they have nothing to do with their autonomy. And yet here they go trying to do what they do. So again, big shout out to the Omaha Tribes Council, who unanimously voted in July to legalize medical cannabis and adult use recreational marijuana. The initial focus of the Tribes Cannabis Commission is strictly medical cannabis. However, if a tobacco tax compact is greenlit, the state and tribe could split tax revenues from tobacco sales on the reservation. It could be a potential new windfall of hundreds of thousands of dollars for the tribe. And of course, possible assistance for a state of Nebraska that's definitely struggling on its financial front to the tunes of hundreds of millions of dollars. So again, very, very interesting how this is playing out, and just remembering that there's a whole group of people that aren't connected to this madness that we call American politics and government. There's a whole other people, of course, their resources are undermined, and we don't have to talk about Pine Ridge and all the other things that our brothers and sisters have to deal with living alongside this beast, but they're alongside it, they're not in it. A lot to learn,
really, for especially the black community, not having a nation the way we do, and we see the moves that the nation, the indigenous nations are making. I also witnessed this when I lived in Hawaii too, with the native population there who are fighting for their sovereign land back. So very interesting in that sense. I appreciate that. I appreciate the story. We'll be definitely keeping track of our brothers over there and seeing what's going on. Majee Miller Jenkins is thinking what I'm thinking. Always found it revealing that we have almost no indigenous representation in any of our political spheres, while we rule on the bones of their home.
Because it's occupation.
Straight up.
This is a land under occupation by European forces.
Wow. Straight up. Shout out to Anthony Rogers Wright, who is talking about a few other things that's outside. I've been trying to keep track of what's going on in New York. Says tomorrow New York City will make history. Zohran Mamdani will be elected the mayor despite getting no love from the Democratic Party. Very interesting. And not just no love from Democratic Party, but people actively against it, feeling like this brother, because of his religion, is going to be the downfall of America. And, a very interesting fact here that I found: key billionaires, wealthy individuals identified in campaign filings and news reports that 8 key billionaires have put millions of dollars behind trying to stop him from being elected, and he's still going to be elected. So, first of all, power of the vote. Here's some names of some people and how much money they contributed to making sure that he did not get through. And it looks like he's still going to get through. History will be made. Just goes to show you, even the billionaires can't stop the vote.
Man, and this is interesting to me. Like you pointed out some of the Islamophobia that's been thrown his way, and the rhetoric that's being used to paint him as un-American. But when you look at the parallels between Native American traditions and Islam, it's very close. I mean, even down to the name. Again, if you pull up that Omaha tribe picture, it's both nations. The logo. It's talking about peace. Again, heritage for peace. Look into the great law of peace. That is a body of law that existed on American soil before American jurisprudence.
The great law of peace.
The great law of peace. What does Islam mean beyond the will of Allah? It means peace. Islam, the word means peace. A liken to shalom, which also means peace.
Well, that doesn't fit well when we have a Department of War. So
again, not accepting this narrative.
Yeah. Not accepting the narrative is the point.
Man.
Big
So, Man, just about 7 minutes left. Before we get out of here, I did want to touch on one last point. A
Mhm.
few things that a few chat chimers and friends of First Sky are sharing, and in the spirit of solidarity, us coming together, not accepting the premise, things like that. A big shout out to Anthony Rogers Wright for filling the lane of strategic communication. This Black Alliance for Peace, speaking of peace, that he just dropped, giving the people an orientation to OPPD's culture of malfeasance, media, was it mendacity and misdirection? Brother Anthony Rogers Wright, always with the way of words, gassed, gaslit, and garnished. Again, talking about the situation going on with OPPD. I urge you to look into it. I urge you to look into it. This is a conversation that definitely impacts us all. As Paul, you mentioned, Commissioner Roger Garcia, telling us that the air doesn't just stop at North Omaha. Again, the polluting, not just North and South Omaha, but West Omaha as well. Again, this is air that we all breathe. Talking about OPPD and the coal stacks. Of course, we talked about the connection to asthma. Of course, Senator Ashlei Spivey, which, let's connect the dots. She just said her son had an asthma flare up. Guess where the OPPD plant is? In her district.
Man.
Coincidence? I think not.
Mm.
Just saying. So again, a big shout out to Brother Anthony Rogers Wright sharing this information on his page. You can check it out. Very informative.
We put the link in the chat for the actual manifesto, and then also the link to Black Alliance for Peace. .com. So we'll discuss this later. We'll get into it later. We still got to dig in ourselves a little bit on this, but shout out to him putting this in Friends of First Sky Omaha for us to study. So let's get in it.
Yeah, man. And then another one, Brother Joaquin Fox, who, again, I know you mentioned the BAA was very active over the weekend, hiking and things like that. But apparently they also had their monthly general meeting, which a few people went to. If you were able to make that, I would definitely love to get your take on that situation. But I appreciate what Brother Joaquin had to say about the situation. He says, I went because I understand that in times like these, we have a duty and obligation to think about ourselves as Black people before we are anything else. I went because I also understand that to think that way puts in danger in such a unique way the entire concept of anti-Blackness, puts into danger in such a unique way that an entire concept, being anti-Blackness, was derived in order to articulate the ways in which Black people are under attack socially, physically, psychologically. Going into the meeting, I left my assumptions at the door and entered with the goal of learning, which is very important if we're talking about solidarity and learning from each other, and again, working together. He went on to say, I found out that the BAA has 8 objectives that serves as a foundational answer to what ails our community specifically. Kind of sounds familiar. 7 lanes of change, if you will. Again, one is education, which again, Black history education. The centers, the teachings of Marcus Garvey and civil rights leaders like Malcolm X. 2 is health and mental health. 3 is politics. 4 is communication. 5 is communal dispute resolution, which is huge. I love that. And it says provide alternatives to police involvement through mediation. Also communal defense and economics. And the last is communal land. So again, I urge you to check out our Brother Joaquin Fox post. He actually is calling people out to put their comments and put their names and put their ideas under some of the points that they feel resonates with their area of expertise, or where they feel pulled to spiritually, or where they just want to get involved. So again, definitely check that out. And as we continue to talk about this mutual aid, reminding people, man, the answers are out there, and we are all we have, but that is absolutely enough.
I like that we got the 7 lanes of change. The BAA got the 8 points.
Yeah, man.
The Black Panthers had the 10-point plan. You know, when them kids start telling you, when them kids start saying 6-7, 6-7, just tell them 7, 8, 10. 7, 8, 10. Shout out to Tamika Renee, who came through. Shout out to Marlon Harrison, North Omaha Community Partnership owned. Please follow our Black, Brown, and Red Meetup Coalition page. We are a coalition focused on bringing us together, working, healing, and progressing collectively. Definitely highly encourage that. Definitely behind that red, black, and Black, Red. What is it? Black, Brown, and Red Meetup. The first one y'all had, the Mary Ewing showed up too. I mean, it's starting off with a blast. So I appreciate that. And I appreciate all you guys that were doing that. I didn't want to bring up something real quick before we got out of here. I know we only got about 2 minutes left, but we had that discussion about Bamboozled last show, and it's really interesting some of the things that's going on in the news right now. And for those of you that showed up to the Bamboozled movie at Film Streams, where we had the discussion afterwards, I find this really interesting because we kind of talked a little bit on that discussion about how, who's familiar with blackface, and people kind of raised their hand, and who's, according to the movie and according to what we talked about, is kind of something that started in the 1800s, early 1900s, minstrel shows and so on and so forth. Still going on today, and while it's super relevant today, this is a picture of a influencer that a lot of people are that follow, Lily Gaddis. No, I'm sorry, Brittany Venti. One of them white girls, man. I don't know which one. On her social media platform with this blackface, and not just with blackface, but acting as if these are welfare queens, like making like on here talking about black women who are going to be upset that their SNAP benefits are going away. So super disrespectful on a platform, highly platform. This is happening now. This is 2025. You want to talk about blackface and attitudes, minstrel? Also, I don't know if you've been seeing this as well, but there's a digital blackface going on too, man. Sora 2, which is a AI program that can make videos. Has been allowed to make videos about black women who are going off, screaming about their 7 baby daddies, and now there's going to be no EBT, and that the taxpayers are supposed to help them, and acting crazy. And some fools are out here trying to act like those are some real videos and commenting on them and commentating as a news group. So just the other side of like what it is we do sometimes. We're independent, unregulated. We decide our own standards for how it is that we put news out. We decide those standards based on tenets of journalism. Whereas these other influencers, these other people who are putting content out, the other extreme is them actually acting as if these fake videos are real and putting them out as news. It's ridiculous. First of all, the videos are ridiculous. Second of all, the people reporting on them is ridiculous as well. And they're calling this digital blackface. Sora 2 is letting users generate fake AI videos of black women crashing out over EBT. It's ridiculous.
Man, you gotta be careful. Actually, while I was in Omaha watching a news broadcast with Mama Gawd, and it kind of had to like let her know, like, just listen to what he's saying, for the merit of what he's saying, but understand that, look at that person. That is not a real person. That is an AI person. And you got to be careful. There are some news outlets, especially, ones that just pop up on your algorithm. I see Sister Melissa in the chat. She says, I hate AI. My son's algorithm is full of it. We had to sit down and talk about it. You should see the self-hate that our children are consuming. And please be careful with some of the stuff that especially directed towards children, AI videos. You don't know who's behind this stuff. It's dangerous. And Sora, the platform that you were just talking about, is the same platform that just got sued by the family of Martin Luther King Jr. If you remember, that was the same platform that had him shouting like a monkey.
Yeah. So if you ever had to go on a digital diet, now's the time. This is the reason why we keep making moves and changes and making plans for us to continue communication in and throughout any of this stuff, because it's all media, and this is what they're using it first. Is artificial intelligence that's not out here trying to find cures for cancer. They out here making Martin Luther King monkey videos. This is what it's going to be used for first. And right now, people in the industry like us can tell the fake, but it's getting ready to be that we won't be able to tell. We're right at the cusp of not being able to tell if it's real or not. And I'm already treating everything I see as entertainment only, not information. I'm reassessing where information has to come from. And I think we all are, in a way. Yeah. Appreciate you, man. Peace, Majid Miller Jenkins said, peace is something that you make with enemies, not friends. It requires diplomacy when we are sorely lacking nationally, which we are sorely lacking nationally.
Yeah, man.
She also is letting us know Saturday kickoff for Peter Pan free grocery program, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. at Peter Pan Park in Lincoln, with a 1 hour training before distribution. Appreciate that. Also, we have launched the Lincoln Liberation Library. I will send Buddy the QR codes. This sounds interesting. Why do you be talking about book club, but we'll see what's happening.
Some things going on.
Lincoln Liberation Library. I like the alliteration of that. It sounds good. Appreciate you guys joining us today. It's already at 9:03. We're beyond the time that we agreed upon. So thanks for sticking with us this show. Thanks for having good questions and comments. I'm sorry I didn't get to all the questions and comments. Kind of the flow of the conversation wouldn't allow me to kind of break to some of the questions that you guys have. So I highly encourage you to send those questions directly to the senators and see if they will comment on them as well. And maybe we'll get to them next Senator Cypher. But shout out to Senator Terrell McKinney and Senator Ashlei Spivey for joining us today. It's about time for us to get about here, buddy. You got some words for the people?
Yeah, before we get out of here, there was one last thing I want to let the people know about the 6-month pilot program from Mayor Ewing. It started over the weekend for those who are, concerned about encampments or just, want to help our houseless brothers and sisters. Apparently the program is launched. It does go until April. And again, it offers resources for those rather than criminalizing homelessness. There's a hotline, 402-444-5555. Again, that's 402-444-5555. Again, that is a hotline you can call if you see an encampment. If that is the case and you do make a call, that encampment will receive a 10-day notice to vacate, will be posted in the area. Also, a street outreach team will be notified and mobilized. Check-ins will happen every day during that time, connecting people to resources and housing or shelter and addressing other needs. So again, and the city's attempt at a more humane option or response to what we're seeing with the homeless encampments. Again, this is a pilot program, so pay attention, check it out, and we might need your voice to either make or break this situation. So again, everybody, all hands on deck.
All hands on deck for sure. This episode has really kind of been about solidarity from jump to from top to bottom. And, even started last night with Sermon with Sherman. I appreciate it right now. This has been floating around Friends of First Sky Omaha. I'm not really quite sure who put this here. I can't remember where I got it, but on Friends of, I think it was a friend that posted this, but there's no information on contact here. So we'll have to go through. If you guys know anything about this or seen this, let us know. Omaha Community Solidarity Plan, building real support while systems fail us. We'll pin this in Friends of First Sky Omaha so you can come check it out. But there's some good things here that we're talking about: preventing homelessness, feeding the community, organizing to educate, advocating for change, all these things that we're about. And if there is a call for solidarity, we want to know about it, because First Sky Omaha is all about the solidarity. Yeah. Like we talked to Sherman about last night. So appreciate it. Let's put the call out. There's something coming here with this call for solidarity and this mutual aid idea coming together and using our platform to be able to build something there that might be able to do some good. And we're really, really leaning into that. So let's talk about it, and we'll be in touch. Appreciate everybody that came through. Pops in the chat. Where did I see you? Where did I see Pops talking about it? I'm going to give Pops the floor here, because I thought you weren't going to make it today. I appreciate you coming through. He says, great way to start off the week. Thanks for the awesome Senator Cypher and all the other enlightening info brought by the chat chimers. See you all on Wednesday. Appreciate you, Pops.
Yes, sir. Thanks for coming through.
One last thing, Anthony Rogers Wright says, and tomorrow City Council is voting to spend $38 million on parking lots, but no money to address the houseless issue. These people are not serious. Playing in their face. We'll talk about it. We appreciate everybody that's come through. Shout out to the Omaha Tribe Elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. Shout out to Native American Heritage Month. Hey. Let's definitely peep them out. Shout out to our elders for allowing us to speak before you, and shout out to you, the chat chimers, allowing us to speak with you. Appreciate all of your comments and your questions, and I appreciate you spreading the word, sharing the show, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, just as we get out here reminding the people, today is the day, man. Check out Sister Michaela Danner. Again, 6 to dismiss. Got to get Don Klein out of the paint. Yeah, man. Out of the paint. So check out the sister. Decide for yourself. We ain't telling you what to think, but there's options.
Yeah, ask some questions and bring them back. We like to hear what she's about too, as well, for sure. And we'll work on trying to get her on the show. Appreciate that. Yep. With that, we're gonna get out of here. We will see you on, what is today? Monday?
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's wild. It's weird.
It's weird, isn't it? We'll see you on Wednesday. I'm like Pop says, God willing and the creek don't rise. We'll see you on Wednesday. You guys take care of yourselves.
Peace.
the red